All right, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joe Hatagwa. I am a Sierra Leonean American who just spent 4 years living in West Africa. And if you want to know what it's been like moving back to the States and all the life changes that are happening here in the United States and back home, then this is the video for you. All right. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can hear me. And let me know where you're watching from. I see Mariama Forbes is online. Shout out to Mariama. As you guys can see, I'm finally able, for those of you on Instagram, I'm finally able to go live again on my personal page on Instagram. Still hoping that eventually I'll be able to go live on my YouTube channel. So fingers crossed that'll be a capability I'll have soon. But if you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the chat, and also let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know that you guys can hear me. It's been a wild ride as of recent, so got lots of updates to give. Pro Woman is saying, waving, hey from Chicago with hugs. What's up, Pro Woman? Long time no see. Tim Black is in the building. I can hear you from Jonesboro, Georgia. You're watching on YouTube. Shout out to Tim Black. All right, so you guys can hear me. Good. So some updates to give. First of all, I got a new laptop, so that has been huge because you guys might remember my laptop crashed the end of last year, lost a ton of content, and kind of set me back. And so over the last 3 or 4 months or so, since moving back to the US, since getting this new job and kind of revamping everything I'm doing on social media, I've been working hard behind the scenes to make sure that I have, content that you guys can find useful. What's up, Chidu? Chudu's in the building as well, my brother, Africa's biggest influencer. We are speaking it into existence. Yes, sir. So Chidu is actually the CEO of a solar company, and briefly came by Sierra Leone. Hopefully we'll get that back up and going in Sierra Leone, but it is actually a quite large company based in Nigeria. So shout out to Chidu for joining the live stream. So yeah, as you guys might remember, laptop crashed. I had to take an emergency trip to the United States back in March. And then I had been, you guys might have noticed the background changes back and forth between New York, Jacksonville, Florida. What has all of that been about? And so I can begin to talk about that a little bit because there will be some content coming from that in the near future. Because you guys have been asking, there's been some family changes, let's just say, and updates. And at the end of last year, some things happened that I wasn't willing to talk about, and I won't be talking about on this platform because it is not my place to speak about it. But that, along with everything else, added to some challenges. And so in March of this year, we had a family member become very ill. And, we rushed to bring him to the United States. We did some work. We had some medical treatment done, and they were fine until recently. And so at that point in time, when, they passed, there's like a whole new process of what we need to do to kind of make sure that everything is done properly the way they want it. And so the reason why you guys have seen me like in all different places, I've been in Jacksonville, I've been in New York, and I've been back to Jacksonville, back to New York. I think I've been to Jacksonville 4 times this year for extended periods of time. I moved to the United States partly because of this. And so, I just needed to make sure I had everything in order to be able to be more involved in this process and to be able to help where I can. And then also too, I will be creating some content around this process. I don't know how many people are aware of what is required to be able to take remains from the United States to Sierra Leone, and what that looks like, what that process looks like. It's a long and arduous process. There's a lot of elements involved in it. And because this channel has always been about my experiences on the continent, I figured it might make sense for me to share that process with you guys. What happened at the end of last year wasn't my place to share. What happened this year is my place to share. And so, I've had some conversations with some folks in my family, and I think we're all in agreement that if it will be helpful to you all, then I should record this process. So what you guys will be seeing from me, and I don't know when the content will be coming out, but I will be going live likely from Sierra Leone in a few weeks. That week is when funeral arrangements will be had. And during that time, I will be sharing what that process looks like. I may go live. We may live stream it. There's been some talk about that, live streaming it and making sure that people can join easily. We're not sure how that will happen or when that will happen or if that will happen. But if it isn't, then I will still be vlogging the scenario. I'll be vlogging everything. So I appreciate that, Pro Women. Yeah, so Ivy's asking what happened. So yeah, so someone did pass. And so what I'll be doing is I'll be vlogging the process of shipping remains to Sierra Leone. I've had conversations with a number of people over the last 6 weeks, and it seems as though there are a lot of people who aren't aware of what this process looks like. So for those of you who are in the same situation as I am, where you have a family member that passes and you will want to, and they would want to have been buried in Sierra Leone, there's a lot of elements, and not everyone's really aware of what it takes. And so what I want to do is kind of help you guys through that and understand what it takes. From a high level, I can tell you right now, depending on how you decide to do it, whether it's with the funeral home or not, the funeral home, if you do it through the funeral home, basically if you say the funeral home can handle all of the processes, then of course they charge you for those things, and they charge a significant amount of money. However, depending on if there is a life insurance policy and things of that nature, they can actually take from the life insurance policy, and then whoever is the beneficiary of the life insurance policy gets whatever is left over. So that's it, depending on if that's how you decide to do it. If not, you could do through cash or whatever. And there are processes involved with that. But just to kind of take it back a second. So, the process is, if you have the funeral home do it, or if not, you have to communicate with the state in which the person passes away in. That state, well, first you have to get a death certificate, cause of death, etc. That then has to be signed off by, of course, the doctor, depending on how you do it. If you go through, what's it called? Now it's escaping me. If you're going through, wow, how is it escaping me? And I'm live, right? So of course I can't edit this. If you're going through hospice, sorry, just was escaping me. If you're going through hospice, they have a hospice doctor. That person has to sign off. Once that person signs off, then it gets sent to Vitals and Statistics. Vitals and Statistics is a department of your state government, some version of that, where they will have to then acknowledge the receipt of the death certificate, and they stamp it, and they give their acknowledgement of receipt of it, and that this is legitimate, and they send it back to you or the funeral home. From there, you have to then send it to send it back to the state and another department, the infectious disease department. They review that and say that this person doesn't have a communicable disease, so that they can actually be shipped to another location. So once they send that back, then you go through the Sierra Leonean embassy in DC. The Sierra Leonean embassy in DC then has to, get the person's passport and everything. They sign off on it. Then they ship it back. And then from there, the flight can be scheduled to ship the remains to Sierra Leone. Once that happens, then you start with the funeral and arrangements on the other side in Sierra Leone. So if any of you guys need any assistance on that, you have questions on that, you can reach out to me. I can, walk you through what the process looked like for us, the funeral home we used, or that we're using, what the process looked like. Every state is a little bit different, but it's some version of that. But if you guys need any help with that, that is part of what I am here to do, is help you guys with these processes if it's needed. So so that was a major update that's happened. And that probably explains to some degree why you have seen me back and forth, in Sierra Leone, in Jacksonville, in New York. And then you'll be seeing me fly out to Sierra Leone. I appreciate it, Ivy. Thank you. But yes, shipping is expensive. Pro Woman says, yeah, I don't know what that takes. Need to know in case I decide to be buried in Africa. Yeah, so there's a process, and I'll be vlogging the whole thing. So yeah, the consulate or the embassy, of course, you have to go through. Yes, exactly. Proof of embalming, all of that needs to be done. I appreciate it, Ivy. Thank you so much. Now so the government does not do the shipping. So to answer your question, I think Pro Woman was asking Ivy. No, the government does not. It is usually done through private means. And so depending on your funeral home that you're working with, they may have a third party that they work with. They may do it themselves. But there are companies out there that do that. That is part of what they do. And so, yeah, you'd have to do some research on that if you decide not to have your funeral home do that on your behalf. So, so that's one of the major updates that I wanted to give you all. It has been quite a wild ride since moving back to the States and all of these things happening. As you can imagine, it's pretty stressful. There are a lot of moving pieces, different personalities, different people that need to be brought in for different things. We did do a memorial service here in the States. I did not vlog that or film that because it was in the United States, and everything I am doing in Sierra Leone is very different. And so that will be vlogged so that you guys know what that process looks like, and you'll see what it looks like for a burial in the outer provinces. So I do plan to share all of that with you all in the coming weeks. So that's the main update on that side. So the other updates is I am going to be going to Sierra Leone. I will be getting an international driver's license, and I'll be getting another passport, my U.S. passport. I actually got my U.S. passport renewed in Sierra Leone. And so I will definitely be bringing a new passport and an international driver's license. And so for those of you who are thinking about coming to Sierra Leone, and you can use your U.S. driver's license, but if you wanted to get a Sierra Leone driver's license or an international license, I have the plug and the people that you can go through to get that done. So if you're looking to do that, just let me know and I can help with that. Separately from that, there are some major house updates that I will be finally sharing in the coming weeks. As of right now, all the content you'll be seeing on the page is going to be from Tanzania. So just taking it back to previous comments and discussions, it looks like some people are just joining. So I'm arriving late to the live, but it seems that someone close to you has passed away. My condolences. I appreciate that. Yes, that is the case. If you haven't seen that earlier, you can go back and watch the beginning. We just kind of talked through the update there and how, I want to utilize this platform to help other people. If you have any questions about this process, it's a long and arduous process. There's a lot of elements to it. Every country is different, but this is specifically what Sierra Leone is doing. And what has to happen from the state of Florida, and many other states have similar processes. So I will be vlogging all of that, sharing it with you guys. And then the travel and transportation and all of that in Sierra Leone, you'll get a chance to see all of that. I'll be vlogging that as well. What I was saying is right now, what I've been vlogging is the travel to Tanzania. That was an incredible trip. with Jay Cameron and the team at Maximum Impact. I want to shout him out and the whole team that he had working with him, you know, and the group that came along. You know, my laptop crashed last year, so I lost a good amount of content that was already being edited. So it had to be re-edited on a new laptop, and it went through many different iterations, changes, different editors, all kinds of different stuff. And so now we finally have the content up. And so if you guys haven't seen it yet, when you get a chance after this live stream is over, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is head over to the YouTube channel and check out the videos that I have on the channel. Many of you guys might remember I did a live stream with Jay Cameron at the end of last year. And so, you know, this was the interview I did with Jay Cameron right here, and you guys get a chance to see some of the other videos that are coming. But yeah, so this one, and we got about 6,000 views on that video, so pretty good for an interview for sure. But I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen this is a really good interview. Like, I'm not just saying that because I interviewed him, but his answers were great. You know, he, at the time that we did this interview, he had at that point brought 600 Black Americans to Africa. Since then, it's now 1,000 total Black Americans that he's brought to Africa. His first trip to Ghana that he did, like as a group trip, he had 35 people on that trip. I don't know how many of you guys have gone on different trips with like travel groups, but like it takes sometimes takes people sometimes 3 years, 4 years to get 35 people on a trip. And he did that on his first trip. So he talks about how he did it, the purpose of why he's bringing people to Africa, and what the experience is meant to be like. And so that is the first video I definitely recommend you guys watch. And then I also have part 1 of my 10-day trip to Tanzania, the vlog that I did, where you kind of get an overview of each day, what it was like. And so I definitely recommend you check that out on the channel. And then I also did tomorrow or Wednesday, so stay tuned to the channel, I'll do another one on 10 things you should know before going to Tanzania. That is coming as well. So definitely stay tuned. There is a lot more content to come on Tanzania. This entire month of September will be filled with content from Tanzania. And then next month, I will take you guys back to Ghana, where I did a lot of real estate tours and some other vlogs that I have from Ghana that I want to share with you guys. It's really interesting stuff. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. And then we'll take you back to Sierra Leone. And so for October, November, expect a ton of content from Sierra Leone. This trip and my last trip, that'll all be kind of included. I needed to get the content from Tanzania out because it's due to someone. I had made the agreement that I was going to put it out, and so I need to make sure I get all that out to you guys. If you guys are ever planning to go to Zanzibar, Tanzania, the content is going to be really good for you. It'll help you understand like what you can do there, what it looks like firsthand. So you'll get a chance to see that. So if Tanzania is on your bucket list or Zanzibar is on your bucket list, then definitely check it out. Few historical notes. Zanzibar and Tanzania used to be 2 different countries. They actually merged as countries. Also, it is the birthplace of Swahili, not Kenya, which most people think. And Swahili is not necessarily a native African language. It's actually kind of a mix. Well, it is native African language, but it is a mix of many different languages because so many different people came to Tanzania and conquered Tanzania at different times. And they mixed all those languages together. I think it's about 7 different languages, if I'm not mistaken. I think Tanzania had been conquered at least 8 times. So there's a little bit of Arabic, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of English, a little bit of, and then a little bit of local languages in there too, that all combine to create Swahili. It is a little bit different than what people speak in Kenya, just because the countries are different and they have local dialects that they fit in there. But if you have heard people in West Africa speak a pidgin, Sierra Leone, we speak Creole, Ghana has a pidgin, Nigeria has a pidgin, Cameroon as well. And I think the Congo as well. No, Cameroon for sure. So all of them, all the pigeons, there's similarities in these different countries, and so that's the same thing that you find with Swahili in East Africa. And so lots of interesting facts, a lot of really interesting stuff. Like we did the safari, did a balloon safari, did Stone Town, went to the Rock restaurant, stayed in really nice hotels. I mean, top notch, top tier experience. Even did camping in a tent, but glamping. That vlog should be interesting. So yeah, you'll be interested in all of that. So all of that is coming. Just stay tuned to the channel because there's so many vlogs coming. I waited till I had about 15 vlogs edited before I started putting them out. So that's why it's been about 5 months since you've seen any vlogs from the channel. There's been shorts, there's been live streams, but you haven't seen any mid-form or any vlog videos. Those are starting to come now. So pay attention because you got a lot coming. And I'm going to shoot a lot more while I'm in Sierra Leone. There's more to come there. So just stay tuned. Like the rest of this year, you can expect to see at least 2 videos per week, two like tentpole videos, besides the 3 live streams that I'm working on trying to do every week. You can expect that from me. And then there'll be clips of those videos in between for those of you who have a short attention span. You can stay tuned for that. So again, just a quick recap of today's live stream for those of you who joined a little bit late. There was a family death, and because of that, I am going to be going to Sierra Leone, and throughout that process, I'm going to be vlogging that process for those of you who haven't been through that or have to do that at some point in time in the future. You'll at least know what the process looks like. So I'll take you guys through that firsthand from my experience, because that's what I do with this channel, right? That's the goal, is to help you guys understand what this process looks like. So that's why, for those of you who are just joining, that's why you've seen me travel back and forth to Florida frequently, because there have been some times where I've been going to deal with some of the things related to that process. So yeah, so that is basically it. Shout out to Forever saying Couche, sorry for the loss. I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, that is like from a high level what happened. Thank you, Cheeto. I appreciate it. And so what we're doing now is we're gonna share with you what that process looks like. You know, everything that is happening in my life, I try to share with you guys because I've been trying to help people see what it's like to make the move to the continent of Africa, right? I did it without having a blueprint to follow, like this page. That's why I created the YouTube channel, right? It was to make sure that other people can learn from my mistakes and learn from what I'm learning as I do it in real time. You know, I moved back to the United States partially to deal with this and for other reasons, which I've talked about at length on the live streams previously. And although I live full-time in the United States, once a quarter, the plan is to go back to the continent of Africa, whether that's Nigeria, that's going to be Ghana, that's going to be Sierra Leone. I will be going back and working on building the next phase of my life, right? The phase that I'm currently in, I am utilizing this time to do a number of different things, one of which is raising funds and building up, you know, enough cash to be able to invest. And what you guys are going to be following as the journey moves forward is that investment journey, you know, going and looking at property, looking at land, investing and buying land, right? I've done a little bit of that while I was living on the continent, but the finances weren't really there to do it at the level that I'd like to do it. But now that I'm back in the States and I'm working in my previous career, I'm able to now take those finances and deploy that capital and begin to do more investing. And so, you know, as I give advice to folks on land purchases, you'll be able to watch me do it in real time as well. So you'll see me as I open up my first Airbnb. You'll see me as I buy more land. You know, there's already 5 acres owned and some other town lots that might be in dispute. That's a whole nother thing, which you'll get a chance to see on the live, not the live stream, but on future vlogs. We'll see how much of that I can share. But what that process looks like, dealing with you know, when there's a death, if there's land disputes, all those kinds of things, what that looks like. We may talk about that. I have to be careful to protect individuals' names, etc. But there is some things that we can talk about there just from a high level so that people know what to anticipate and what to expect. But that is what this channel is about, right? Is to make sure you know what to expect, you know, before you go, basically. You know, there is a significant amount of unknowns, you know, when you're dealing with a death in the family. And it's even more confusing when there's an element of shipping to West Africa in particular. I'll say specifically Sierra Leone. And so unluckily or luckily, I have family members that have already been through this, right? And so they've been able to kind of help me through the process. But what if I didn't have them? Right? What would I be doing? So because I have them as resources, I would like to offer those same kinds of resources and understanding of the process to you all for when that process happens, to any of you, if any of you are looking to send a loved one back home. And yes, and so also, as I mentioned, so I was I guess part of the recap, and then also as well, I was just kind of explaining that there's more content to come. Tanzania content, definitely want to stay tuned for that. Like that trip was a game changer. It was in the middle of craziness that was happening. I can't even get into that, but in my personal life, there was a lot of craziness happening at that point in time. But that trip was an amazing experience. I met so many great people, lots of great conversations. Jay Cameron and his team of Maximum Impact really do curate really amazing experiences. And he also has great people on his who come to his events or who come to his trips. And so I definitely recommend it for those of you who have the budget and want to do like kind of a trip that you don't have to think about anything. You just pay the price and then you just go. I definitely recommend Maximum Impact. And just watch the videos. You know, the videos on the channel will tell you what it was like. Again, I interviewed Jay, put that out last Tuesday. You guys have really been supporting that interview, so that's great. I need you guys to also support the live, the live. I need you guys to also support the other video that I did, which is the part one of my experience. I vlogged it, so that's the link to it there. So wherever you're watching this, if you can copy and paste that to your browser, whenever you get a chance, try to copy and paste that to your browser and watch that video after this live stream is over. So Pro Woman says about Jay, he partnered with other agencies and tapped into his base. That's how he's done it. Excellent interview too. Thank you. Yes, I mean, well, I guess you kind of what did you say? You kind of gave a spoiler alert. But yeah, so he talks about that. He talks about tapping into his base. He's a playwright. He had plays that he was doing in the DMV, and so he had that email list. And you know, these are folks who came to watch him perform or to see the plays that were being put on. And so he also then was doing trips, and he's also done that. But yes, then he's also worked with other folks who have their own followings, and they have brought people on too. And he has an affiliate program to help people who have a following, who bring people on trips. They also can make some money as well. So really, really smart business model. And man, is he doing well with that business. Let me tell you something. That part was not disclosed, and that won't be disclosed by me. That's up to him to decide to tell you guys. But he does really well with that business. And so he's doing good and doing well, which is what we're all here to do, right? We want to do good for the people and want to do well for ourselves. And so he's really done that. So definitely recommend checking out the interview and checking out that video that I just put in the chat. So yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll also put this in the description of the live stream on YouTube. So if you guys are watching it back, I can actually probably do that right now as we speak, right? Let me see here. Video I was talking about in the live stream. I put a link to it here. Save. Interesting. You can actually make updates to the description in the middle of a live stream. Cool. So I just did that. So if you guys can click on the link in the live stream description. If you didn't get it in the chat, go head over to YouTube, click on the replay of this live stream. In the description, there's a link in there. It's the first link you'll see. I wrote video I was talking about in the live stream, and then I put the link right after it. That is the vlog. For whatever reason, the algorithm hasn't really been showing it to everybody, so people don't even know it's there. But we took it's painstaking work to put that vlog together. So I want you guys to check it out. Show some love, help me out, get that video to more people, anybody who's planning to go to Tanzania. If you guys just want to be entertained by a vlog that I create, because I'm back doing vlogs again. I think you'll find it interesting. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, and thoughts? Bella Cello says, sorry for your loss. I appreciate it. Thank you. Before we go, this isn't going to be a long live stream unless there are a lot of questions. Other things that I need to tell you guys about. Of course, I will be going live tomorrow with African Stream. So make sure you check back into the channel for that. I go live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I'm not mistaken. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't even know what time I live stream anymore. So I will be going live with the folks at African Stream. I did go live yesterday with Admire, with Sierra Leoneans killing it. And so we went live yesterday and we talked about businesses from Sierra Leone that we recommend and that we want you guys to check out. So yeah, I definitely recommend you guys check in there and yeah, show some love to what we got going on. Yeah, any questions, comments, thoughts? I wanted to make sure I get your questions if there are any. It doesn't look like there are a lot more questions. So I will, let me see. So this video here is the video that I'm talking about. So the name of it has changed. It no longer says Epic Adventure. But this is the video that we're talking about. So it's going to say Epic. It's loading right now. For some reason, it's having a hard time loading. But this is the video here. So I've just sent it to you all. So definitely check it out immediately following this live stream. We're going to end this live stream a little bit early so that you guys can head over and watch it. So this live stream usually is an hour long, but instead of doing an hour-long live stream, we'll keep it to 34 minutes. And then, how many minutes has it been? 33 minutes. And then what you guys can do is you guys can watch for the next 20 or so minutes, the 24 minutes left in the hour. You guys can head on over and watch the live stream. This is what it looks like. This is what you're looking for. It looks like this, where I talk about the East African adventure. So you guys can see quite a really, really impactful experience. So, you got everything in there. You got the balloon rides. You got me in the Serengeti. That's what you see in the background here. You see all the animals. I mean, it is a true Serengeti, what is it called? Safari experience. All right, so there's another question from Tim Black before we go. Is the airport Sierra Leone convenient or is it on the island? I'm not sure I'm thinking of the right country. So technically it's on a peninsula, not an island. But yes, the new airport is just a stone's throw away from the original airport. So the Freetown International Airport, I think is what they're calling it now. I think it used to be called Lunge Airport, or maybe people were just calling it Lunge International, FNA. FNA, same thing, Freetown International Airport. So it is in Lunge. It is on a peninsula. You do have to take a boat across the water to get to mainland. So that has not changed. The same companies that have been in place are the same companies you would utilize. That is Seabird, Seacoach, and Aberdeen Water Taxi. Those are the three companies that you could utilize to get across the water. So yeah, I definitely recommend preparing yourself for that, because if you're the type of person that gets seasick, make sure you bring and you guys might remember I did that video, 10 things I wish I knew before coming to Sierra Leone. We talked about that most of the stuff in that video still apply, except for the currency. The currency has is a bit different now, but everything else is the same. And I think you guys just saw a gnat flying around in the room. I got to catch that thing. I feel like I'm still in West Africa. All right. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys all supporting the channel and coming through. Make sure you head on over right now, not now, but right now, to watch that video from my channel. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Make sure you head on over to watch it. Thanks for watching. See you guys all in the next video.